Hey, Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah, all cleaned and oiled.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Live from Springfield, Missouri, the one, the only, P1 Green. Woo! Let's get it. Let's go.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Good Thursday morning, everyone. Wow. First of all, let me just send out prayers and positive vibes to a friend of mine, Clobbering Times, who passed away unfortunately yesterday. I gotta say, since I started doing this, he was one of those people that makes doing this worth it. Incredibly nice guy, always very giving of his opinion and of his time. My condolences and thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family and everybody online who's ever affected by what he was able to accomplish. It's we lost a good one yesterday. Really good guy. But from my interaction with him, he would tell me, "Okay, that's nice and everything. Now it's time to get everything going." So get to what I'm talking about. But first, how are you, Martin?
Well, I'm doing fine. Of course, a little still shocked about Chloe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we got the news that he has opened his eyes, I don't know. I felt like hope,
Mm-hmm.
and then sadly he passed away. Oh man, this there has been too much of that this year.
There has been. I mean, this has really not been a good year and a half for me personally. You know, uh, this is it's never easy. Um, and as I said before, it it was always great talking to him because he was always very giving when it came to his opinion and when it also came to even little bits of advice. So yeah, it's yeah. But you know what? That just means that as I said, he want us to get started and get to it. And so let's get started and get to it. First, a little bit of news. Paul Giamatti joins the Starfleet Academy television series. First of all, hey,
I
Paul.
don't know. I don't know what to feel about that. I
Uh,
love I love Paul Giamatti, man. He's one of my favorite
yeah,
unrecognized actors, but he's in bad Trek now. Oh fuck.
yeah, he's joined the Kurtzman cult, or at least he's getting paid to be there. Um,
Yeah, but that
it's
is
a yeah.
uh, a role with Kurtzman is almost a career killer at this point.
You know what? I think I don't think it would really do that much damage to his career. You know, I really do believe that uh, it helps to highlight how bad Kurtzman Trek actually is because they just can't make their scripts work. You know, um, it's just bad. I mean, it's different shades of bad when it comes to the writing for Kurtzman Trek overall. Uh, yeah. So anyway, Kurtzman will. I'm sure he will be able to get other people to join this. And as of right now, Giamatti will be joining the previously announced Holly Hunter, who is also another solid person
Wow.
who I've enjoyed.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
yeah, it's look. This is gonna be a blanking mess, in my opinion. Now, the level of blanking mess this will depend. You know, will this be J.J. Abrams, or will this be, to me, the ultimate bad, which is actually there's three tiers to this. Because you got J.J. Abrams, you have uh, Rings of Pewter, and then the ultimate bad upon bad, Batwoman. And something tells me Starfleet Academy just might be Rings of Power bad. So, because I really can't see anything being as bad as Batwoman, even though Batwoman did beat Star Trek Discovery in the ratings when they put Star Trek Discovery on network television. So,
No way.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Oh my god, even
yes,
Batwoman?
even Batwoman beat Star Trek Discovery. Oh yeah,
No. No. Oh my god, I
yeah.
didn't know. I didn't know
That
about that.
that's the reason why, if you get past all of the arguing online and you get past all the phony, propaganda online, when it really comes down to it, nobody was watching that show. The number of people you're trying to basically artificially prop up an entire IP by making it seem like it still is getting and hitting the numbers that it was back when it was still good. People have abandoned Star Trek. And I don't know. I mean, I know that there are people out there who are really disliking what I'm saying, but I'm telling you right now, the proof is in the fact that you can't hardly buy merchandising for that unless you go online. Even though back when Star Trek was doing something, you could buy Star Trek merchandise everywhere. You didn't have to just do it online. You go to Target, go to Walmart, pick it up. But the people who like this want to try to fool themselves into thinking that, this is just an evolution, buying things on. Yeah, whatever you got to do to sleep at night. Yeah, okay. At the very least, for all the bad stuff one could say about Star Wars right now, at least you can still get their stuff in stores.
Mm.
Now, nobody wants to buy it, but at least you are given the opportunity. But Kurtzman Trek at this point is, yeah, it's still chugging along. And for the foreseeable future, Kurtzman Trek will continue to do damage to the Star Trek brand. Now, again, if you like it, I'm happy for you. But if you want to really talk about ratings and fans, as far as the number of people checking out the show and the money, which then allows, which is a great measurement as to how successful you are as a business venture, Star Trek is just plain bad. It's just bad. It's not returning the amount of money that it did in its heyday. In fact, Doctor Who and Star Wars and seemingly Marvel now are all not doing very well financially. Even though it's great having mysterious companies be able to float loans, but you can't keep that up. That's the thing about it. So yeah, you tell yourself whatever you need to get through the night. But the reality is you're bleeding money.
Yes, they are bleeding money, but remember, it's not their fault. It's all those pesky bigots in the audience.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself it's all bigots. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that it's bigots and ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
We'll see how this works out after a while. Anyway, so that's one piece of info, which again I gotta say, you know, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. But again, there is happy news. They've I don't know if you've noticed, but we are we have some returning shows. Discussions have been uh, going and moving forward on what shows will be coming back. Some of them are really good shows. Some of them are not. On the happy end, at least as far as I'm concerned, while it is sad that Superman and Lois will not go much beyond their next season, we will still at least be getting another season of it. And I look forward to it. That's a good show. Not a perfect show, but it's a good show. All the actors, the way the scripts are written. I mean, it's enough to make me think, maybe everybody writing for Superman and Lois should just be allowed to take over and make their own Star Trek show, but Kurtzman's ego couldn't handle that. Zing. Again. Just like Star Trek Legacy. I know a lot of you out there are Star Trek Legacy fans. It'll hit you eventually as to the reason why you can't have that show. And it's not the so-called haters and bigots that are stopping. They could easily have this show like that. But you're not going to get it. And if you do get it, it'll be ruined by the one guy who shouldn't be working on the show, which is Alex Kurtzman himself, who's threatened to actually show run a Star Trek Legacy series.
Threatened. Yes, you are correct. That is the correct expression.
So, I know there are a lot of you out there going, oh, we're going to get a Star Trek Legacy series. as if it doesn't matter who show runs your show. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll go with that. If it really doesn't matter who show runs your show, then, why not just let someone like, I don't know, let me pick a name out there. Why not just allow J. Michael Straczynski? You can let J. Michael Straczynski run it. Oh! But Kurtzman's ego would never allow him to allow J. Michael Straczynski to run a Star Trek show. He couldn't do it. His ego could not take it. Because Straczynski is a way better writer than Kurtzman or anyone currently writing anything in Kurtzman Trek will ever be. Truth hurts. Truth hurts. But yeah, it's unfortunate that things have really regressed so far, that so many popular franchises are basically in danger of basically just not existing anymore. But it is what it is as of right now. Some might come back, others will probably be beyond repair. But hey, look at it this way. At least Warner Brothers can supplement everything going forward with Batman 2. Oh, what's this? Oh, they're having some problems on that one too. I heard an interesting theory about Batman 2. That the only reason why that they have not decided to completely cancel that is they're waiting to see how successful James Gunn's Superman is. If James Gunn's Superman does not do well, the Batman 2 will move forward. So I had to think about that for a moment. Just like, yeah. I can actually now understand why that particular universe and that character is being kept away from everything else. I know that there are those of you out there that enjoy the Batman. Which is, great for you. Again, I'm glad you enjoy it. But as of right now, I don't think that we're ever going to see Robert Pattinson cross over into what James Gunn's currently doing.
Please don't.
James Gunn, look, you can say a lot about James Gunn, but at least James Gunn has at least a level of quality that he wants to keep up, which, you got to throw out the window if you accept the Batman into that universe. So, as of right now, I think I still think there's an opportunity for the Batman 2 to go into production, but it'll do so more than likely as Elseworlds, which would allow James Gunn to introduce his own Batman. And that really could mess up quite a few fans. But I mean, that's the best way to go, in my opinion. I think that there just isn't room, not for everything and everybody. And what the Batman brings and all of that stuff there's just not enough room. James Gunn's got to be allowed to at least create his own universe. And that's not going to happen if they bring in Robert Pattinson. So,
Wolverine, it's not that I hate the movie, but it is a bad movie. Now, if you talk about The Last Jedi, that is a movie I actively hate. But the Batman is just a bad movie. It's not as not insulting enough to your intelligence to being worthy of hate. It's just not a good movie.
Oh, you mean
Or
Dumb 7?
yeah, Dumb 7.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like calling it that. I know it really triggers some people, but you can't deny that that's basically what that is. It's Dumb 7. And
yeah,
again, I understand. I understand there are some people who are fans of that movie. And it's great, but it's also good knowing there's people out there who for whom logic really just doesn't enter into what they entertain themselves by. You know, you start applying a little bit of logic and at least basic story understanding, and that movie just falls apart. It just crumbles. Um,
I just like movies with have just one ending, and not three.
and again, but we can all explain away how bad Dumb 7 is by saying it's only his second year.
Mm.
I guess if they use that for Star Trek Discovery, it's like Michael Burnham. This is only her second year. Oh well, that explains everything. Oh, okay. I'm so bad about hoping for a little logic and consistency. It's only her second year. Okay, well, I guess everything she did makes sense now.
Whoa, whoa,
What
Wolverine.
the?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't go with you on that one. I mean, look.
Dude,
I'm
dude,
not the
dude.
biggest Schumacher fan, but I would rather go with someone that's at least striving to try to interpret 1950s Batman comics than for someone who tried to sell us on the fact that he was actually making, again, I'm going to keep throwing this out there, that he was actually making a real Batman detective story just like in the comics, and he came out with Dumb 7. How do you do that? How do you do that? And I can't believe a lot of you people out there are letting him off the hook. He made a big show out of not using Ben Affleck's script so he could go away and write his own. That was just like Batman in the comics, so he could be a detective. And we got that? That's him? Writing Batman as a real detective? And making him and Gordon so dumb because they get tripped up by Spanish? I mean,
You know, but Batman has a supercomputer that is incapable to run in Google Translate.
Yeah. Well, and something that now you could do easy. Anybody can do that. That's the thing. It's not that hard, and yet people still want to defend Dumb 7. Okay, well, you know.
Well,
But again,
man, at least we got a good penguin. They
you
they
know
made
what?
they made penguin menacing again because
Yeah.
penguin has been the butt of too many jokes. Oh
Well,
man, no.
he is kind of a funny character, but I see what you're saying. Again, it's unfortunate that instead of taking a character like the Riddler and turning him into a serial killer, that you couldn't already take a character that exists within the Batman pantheon of characters that is already a serial killer and using that
Victor
character.
Sass.
Victor Zsasz is another one. I was thinking Professor Pig. Professor Pig is a serial killer.
Hmm.
That's his main MO. He is a serial killer. So he isn't just a Batman villain that robs banks and no. In fact, had they used Professor Pig, he would have been on the level of the villain of the movie Seven. That's Professor Pig. And again, Professor Pig as a character has been around since at least the 80s. So, anyway. Wolverine 626, yes. Gunn's Creature Commandos is looking to launch in December. I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's a different part of the universe, and they're already casting live action versions of those. That's another really cool thing. Gunn's not just he's not allowing the animation to just do its own thing. He's also thinking towards hiring people to play the live action versions of that so that everything fits together, kind of like the Marvel universe, except that without really spending years trying to do individual films for a lot of characters that people have already seen their origin stories done many times before.
Yep.
The living, breathing universe approach, which I've been talking about for years, works. If you cast right and you have a really good script, that can work. Because it doesn't require you to basically break everything down and start all over again. So, yeah. Anyway. Wait a minute. D. Bud Martin, my cats have scratched out better stories in their litter box than Kurtzman. Really, than anybody in Kurtzman Trek.
Welcome, Lee Anthony Davis.
Hey, welcome to the show. So I think right now we're going to get to the main story. I have other stories that I want to talk about, but I really want to dive into the main story here. I think it's important to talk about this because this really is part of a much bigger trend. And unless things change, we are definitely going to see a lot more studios probably go to the wayside. I mean, and I'm talking about Paramount Global. So this is a story that was put together for CNBC. National Amusement stops discussions with Skydance on Paramount deal, sources say. Let's see. National Amusements has stopped talks with Skydance on a proposed merger with Paramount Global, ending months of deal discussions without a transaction. National Amusements, which is owned by Sherry Redstone, the controlling shareholder of Paramount, had previously agreed to economic terms on a merger with a consortium that includes David Ellis and Skydance, and private equity firms Redbird Capital and KKR. The deal had been awaiting sign-off from Redstone. CNBC previously reported National Amusements, which Redstone controls, owns 77% of Class A Paramount shares. Okay? Very important. Personally, the deal, in my opinion, was my favorite of all the deals that they had been given. I really liked the deal, and I felt that out of all of the deals that they had, the Skydance deal really was my favorite because it was the one that I think would have been accepted easier by the government. There were uh, fewer things involved that would have tripped everything up. You know, uh, it really was about bringing Skydance into Paramount Global. Okay, and making the deal just for the Redstone shares, I think pretty much made everything simple. Uh, I also, you know, I liked the fact that David Ellison had a bit of a grudge against the people currently in charge of Star Trek and was going to make their lives living hell. But now that it looks like that isn't moving forward, then I guess they'll eventually figure something else out. But I think what it was that the original deal that they had negotiated was for Redstone to receive $2 billion, and that Skydance would buy out 50% of Class B Paramount shares at $15 apiece, or $4.5 billion, leaving the holders with equity in the new company. And Skydance and Redbird probably would have contributed about 1.5 billion in cash to Paramount's balance sheet to help reduce the debt. That portion in there is very important, reducing debt, because Paramount is deep, deep, deep in it. That's the other thing. You know, I know that there are certain people that have already picked out, oh, I want Sony to buy it all. That's a lot of debt.
Mhm.
That is a lot of debt. Even more so than what David Zaslav took on when he got with Warner Brothers. You take this on, you take it on all that debt. And I think that again, I think the best way to try to get to this is, instead of trying to basically find different people to join you so they could put money towards the debt, I think once you get on the, if you just take over the shares, you can work from the inside and try to figure out first and foremost where a lot of your money is going. And in my opinion, there's a lot of people working in Paramount Global that probably shouldn't be there anymore. If it were up to me, I would tell David Ellison, let me start with CBS. I've got a laundry list of people that I think just need to go. But that's just me. I know that Sherry. Here's the other thing about Sherry Redstone, because people keep forgetting this part. Sherry Redstone is an older person. You know, she's up there with Kathleen Kennedy as far as age. My thing is that I think she's just tired, because she's been doing nothing but fighting with a lot of people that are a part of this company since she's taken over. I know that there are some people, even those of us on this channel, who thought that Sherry was going to be able to do something. Well, you can only do so much if you're not fighting the people who are also a part of the company with you. People who should be helping you out, who do nothing but put obstacles in your way. And again, I'm not saying this as any kind of fan of hers. I'm just saying that as it stands right now, she had a certain idea of how to operate. And a lot of what she was attempting to do, she couldn't, because of contracts and agreements that had been established before she took over. And again, once someone who has the legal authority in representing your company makes certain deals, when you take over any company, you have to abide by those agreements. and it's next to impossible to break a lot of deals. So she had to just eat it, basically. And I think after a while, I think she just got sick and tired. Sick and tired of having stuff thrown in her face, having to basically uh, deal with situations and deals that she probably flat out hated. And I kind of agree with that. Getting someone like a David Ellison in charge, oh, well, we see, if you thought David Zaslav was the dude for what he did behind the scenes at Warner Brothers, man, we would have been in for something truly entertaining with David Ellison, who would have made sure that compared to him, a lot of these old dudes that had gotten used to taking on Sherry Redstone would have had to have dealt with him. And I'm pretty sure David Ellison, and I think his dad is also a part of the company, which means the Ellison family were going to be taking on a lot of these hardliners from CBS and other places that had been basically wrecking shop when it comes to CBS as a business and Paramount Global as a whole. You know, a lot of the same kinds of things that you see going on at Disney and other places. David Ellison would have just wrecked shop and just started getting rid of people. Let's see, hold on. Lee Anthony Davis. Would I be right in thinking that Kennedy and Hedlund have created their equivalent of the timeless children out of the acolyte? Your thoughts, please, gentlemen, and also what do you think needs to be done and how would both of you go about it? Oh, that's a very good question. Okay, let me try to answer that. Do I think they've created the equivalent of the timeless children? Yes. I think it's exactly, if you're talking about episode 3 of the acolyte, yes. And the overall effect that it has, yes. That's exactly it. I would say this. I do believe, look, everybody has different ideas of how to proceed. Disney owns all of this. So if you're someone that doesn't like it, I mean, you know, all you can do is express how much you don't like it. Even though there are people out there that even don't want you to do that for whatever reason, who suddenly act like having a dissenting opinion is somehow the worst thing in the world, or it's equivalent to people who are mean on purpose. You know, my thing is I'm not the same as someone who decides to attack someone based on their sexual orientation or sex. My thing is all about the quality of what's being presented, because we live at a time now where your precious time actually, in my opinion, is equal to money. Why should I waste my time trying to invest in something that isn't quality, in my opinion? You know, they don't seem to be interested in keeping fans nor making money. So if they're not interested in doing any of those two things, that's fine. They can go about and just continue to do what they're doing. You're just going to do it without me participating in any way or buying any merchandise, which while they try to play that off, it does hurt them. And as I said earlier, I mean, you can't keep incurring these huge amounts of money that you're spending with no real return. Eventually, even the shareholders are going to get tired of this. So, how about you, Martin? What do you think?
I can see why you can say it is the timeless child. I can see why,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not completely agree, nor I completely disagree. I have my I have my problems with what they have done because I've heard things that in the that range from okay, neither Palpatine nor the Empire nor everybody that tried to create a living being, even the cloners that tried to create a living being that is force sensitive has ever had success. And these people could. I'm not gonna go into that because
Mm-hmm.
that can happen. A splinter group can achieve something that big groups can. That has happened in history. So that doesn't bothers me. What bothers me is that first the errors in writing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot appear saying, well, you cannot wield the force. That is impossible. That is hubris. But we can use the force. So what is it? You can or you cannot. You so that when you get to that level of bad writing, you say, nah, this is a complete disaster. And this tendency to paint the Jedi as bad guys with good PR.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the philosophy that this group of witches, and that's another thing, witches.
Yeah.
I have problems with when they started to include the magic in this. I never like that idea.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
so somebody could say, well, but the force is magic. No, it's not. There has been previous Disney on StarWars.com, what it used to be StarWars.com in the 90s, that you have a pretty pseudoscientific explanation about the nature of the force.
Mm-hmm.
Now is magic. And I get it, I get it. Disney's focus demographic are kids, but man, don't. Okay, forgetting that, the way in which this witches operates is almost Sith-like.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, the Jedi's are bad people with good PR, and the bad people are misunderstood people. No, I can't with that narrative. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am old-fashioned. I like my villains to be evil and my heroes to be virtuous. That's who I am, and for that, I am a bigot.
Join the
how
club.
how would I proceed? Oh man, I saw. Let me give you a little background. I saw Star Wars the first time in my life, like in '78. I should have 4 years or maybe five when I saw that. My mom usually tell this joke that she went into the theater with a kid and left the theater with another kid because he was completely changed during that movie.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Star Wars, and I'm at that point in which I said, "Mm, no more, please. If you're gonna continue to do what you're doing, don't do anymore." To me, Star Wars is effectively dead. I don't plan to see any more of this charade. If you want to see it, well, knock yourself out. I
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah.
So many, but if it were in my hands to do something about it, we have this comment from Wolverine that said that need to be rebooted. I don't think that is the solution. The solution is not a rebooting; is to restore it to what it was before Disney. Reinstate the expanded universe, which I don't like, but I dislike less than what Disney has done. Erase everything from canon that has been done in the Disney during the Disney tenure. And well, if continue, or continue in the same way it was.
Okay. That's reasonable.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd go with your plan.
Right in the fence? Oh no! On Star Wars, I don't ride the fence, but I like to be the devil's advocate because you have to point the good as little as it is, and you have to point the bad, and you cannot just hate for the sake of hate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
Because you lose credibility.
That's right.
What is this?
Let's see.
Yeah,
Wolverine.
you're not the only one, Gap. Nobody's buying anything.
Disney's hurting. I mean, merchandising wise, they are hurting right now, and it's not just Star Wars. Their Marvel stuff is hurting right now as far as merchandising. Sad, really. Wolverine 626 says, I read that one of
What?
Redstone and say what?
What? Which comment is that?
It's Wolverine 626
Mm-hmm.
from 10:33 a.m. It's right after Lee Anthony Davis's comment that we just got through answering. Wolverine 626. Right. I read that one of Redstone and Skydance's hangups was who was going to take the legal hit if the shareholders sued. She wanted Skydance to indemnify her. You know what? Yeah. I don't know if I've read that, but wow. There is a lot about all of this. I'm not gonna say that Sherry Redstone has done everything perfectly, but I don't think as a company though everything's been run the way that she had wanted it to. You know, you're definitely not dealing with a Bob Iger in this situation, where it's someone who seems to be going through the motions of what you should be able to do with a company, but in actuality, you know, everything's being run a different way, so that every single time a problem comes up, Iger's the man that's basically coming up with all of the solutions, and the board's only purpose, which is not exactly what the board should be doing, is rubber stamping every single one of Bob Iger's ideas. Sherry Redstone's not doing that. Her ideas aren't being rubber stamped. If they had, Alex Kurtzman probably never would have been given the ability to be able to renew his contract with CBS a few years back. He is a problem. You know, Kurtzman is a problem. And it's a problem that is not helpful to the financial situation that Paramount Global finds itself in. He may not be the number one reason why CBS is experiencing problems, both in terms of business and profit. But he's definitely wasting a lot of money and with nothing to show. He's got nothing to show. I'm not even his boss, and I say fire him. You know, I'm to the point where I think even David Allison was just like, if he had taken control, would have just fired him. You know, whatever you got to pay to get rid of him, get rid of him. He's useless. He is not doing anything that's within the best interest of the company, the corporation, or its shareholders. Basically, given everything that's happened to CBS just since 2017, Kurtzman and all his people, all his so-called creatives behind the scenes, do not give a rat's blankety blank about the shareholders. If for whatever reason I owned Paramount stock, I would be beyond pissed at these guys because they're offering nothing except bad plots, and they're basically just killing an IP right in front of your eyes with nothing to show. Just saying, you know. But
What do we have
again,
here? George Cheeks.
yeah. George Cheeks is one of the problems. George Cheeks is one of the people that keeps. He is totally on board with Alex Kurtzman. You know,
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. If Kurtzman shows or products in general, if he had uh profit, okay, I can get why you will be behind him and giving him contracts left and right, but man, he doesn't make any profits.
No.
Why do they give him?
because he's doing exactly what the executives want. That is the one thing that
Well,
has changed.
they want to torch the companies.
Executives want creative power. They don't. It's not just the fact that they have power. Now they want creative power. And people like Alex Kurtzman, he's more of a tool more than anything else. He's not even really a creative. He's a tool. His job is to take whatever ideas the people who are above him, the financial people who have absolutely no creative bone in their bodies, and allow them to at least make it appear like they do have some sort of creative input. You know, Alex Kurtzman's job is to basically do whatever the executives want him to do. That really is his job.
So he's a yes man for the executives.
That's it. That's it. That's it right there. So when you have certain financial companies like BlackRock and others, you know how BlackRock has been operating with Disney. Basically, every time Disney falls short, BlackRock finds the money, wink, wink, to be able to pay off whatever bills are incurred. Well, BlackRock owns stock in every Hollywood studio. They're all over Hollywood. It's not just Disney. Everyone, including Warner Brothers. They are playing all sides. That's the reason why Hollywood is so, as of right now, the entire entertainment industry is so jacked up. Uh, I think in order to move forward, you're either going to have a group of people who have access to some money uh, and who just decide, screw it, and they start making good entertainment. Or you're going to have to try to, you know, uh, save your pennies and take this a different direction. Kind of like a Nelson Peltz or a David Ellison, and try to gain control of said company and try to right the ship, like David Zaslav. And again, I will say, if you thought David Zaslav was something, had Skydance been able to really push this through, David, it would have been a party. I would have had to go out and get myself popcorn. I would have had to invest in a popcorn company so I could eat it while I watch David Ellison just go through and just decimate. And again, they would try to correct a lot of the problems that Paramount has as a film studio. But David Ellison would have had a field day with CBS and George Cheeks. See, Lee Anthony Davis, I would like to offer my sadness on your friend and fellow YouTuber Clobbering Times. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lee. He will be missed.
Yes, he will.
It still seems kind of unreal, but yeah, it's a little bit of shock still, but the reality is starting to intrude more. It's harder to deny that this has actually happened. So anyway,
What do you have to say about this?
I see that's really trying to. Yeah, look. I how can I put this? It is much easier to be someone that has an opinion, to be for a thing, to stand up to those who you want to oppose. If you've got a group of people with a lot of money backing you up. I mean, seriously. Without BlackRock and a few other companies, Bob Iger probably would have been let go long ago. Or he would have never come back to Disney. Well, thank you, Gap. Thank you very much, Gap. And in fact, there's a lot of people within the industry that because they have BlackRock backing them up, they think they can go anywhere they want. They think they can do anything they want, and they're acting like it. And there is going to come a point where the money isn't going to be there. You cannot continue to lose the amounts of money. And when you really think about it, outside of Amazon and Apple, and I don't even want to think about Netflix, because they too have been spending a lot of money for years. Okay? I mean, billions. I don't even want to think about that. But when you think about how much money has just basically been wasted, torched, whatever word you want to come up with, for just nonsensical reasons and just things that people, the general public, just out and out will just try to tell them they don't want that. I mean, I can't be any clearer than that. Wolverine 66. There's speculation that Skydance would have sold or shut down or off CBS Paramount Plus, much like Sony would have had to as far as CBS goes. There is speculation. You know, in some ways, I think in some ways CBS is kind of problematic. In my opinion, for this particular company, yeah. I yeah. I just, and looking at all of this and thinking about everything that Paramount Global owns, I have to just shake my head. It is, it's insanity what's going on in the entertainment industry right now with all these companies. You know, at least David Zaslav's really cut into uh, the debt of Warner Brothers because I don't know. I don't know. I There are days that over the last few years since Sherry Redstone's taken over, I know I've had different ideas on how to handle this. But like I said years ago, it was really just going to come down to what Sherry Redstone and her lawyers were able to do. And CBS just did a masterful job in making sure that they wrote those contracts in such a way that even Sherry Redstone couldn't break through. That really is the end all be all right there. You own something, and the people that work for you find a way to basically get out of having to do what you say. And that's frustrating. I can see why she wants out, you know. And I'm sure people will say, well, you know, she's not been that successful. You know what? That's a fair assessment. But you also can't forget the fact that she's been facing a lot of opposition since she took control of her father's company. So look, fans, she wanted to give us real Star Trek. She was wanting to go down that road. And they found every way that they can think of to stop her. So, yeah. Anyway, whew,
Okay.
I think it's the top of the hour.
Wait. Lee
Oh,
Anthony Davis has this question, and
please, could you let me know if you both have a YouTube channel so I could subscribe to them? And will you be doing another live show like this? As you have guessed, I am watching this from Twitter. You know what? You can find us both at Pop Culture Minefield, or you can go on YouTube and find us as part of the Pop Culture Minefield channel, and also technically part of Dangerous Nerds. Um, Doing this is fun for me. I enjoy doing it, and I will try to at least, you know, Twitter and other places. I'll try to at least make my presence known. But I seem to spend a lot of my time either on YouTube or on Facebook. So How about you, Martin?
Well, I'm posting on X the links to our channels on YouTube, on Rumble,
Yeah.
so you can find us there.
Hey, Rumble.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't like when we use that bad word.
Sorry about that.
It's ridiculous, man.
I know.
Remember, remember when you could have competition?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what? If you look hard enough, you might be able to find me on MySpace.
Wow! Wow! Yeah. Okay, we're as you said, we're at the top of the hour, so
Yep.
we're not running the ad anymore because we have to get everyone wants to change
Yeah.
the campaign. So, but before changing topics, I would like to cause all of us uh, nerd pain.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Do I
yes.
need to call a therapist?
Maybe.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
Maybe because you will want some of this, but Mel is not gonna let you.
Oh, man.
Let me see. These are the things that I found on Facebook. Oh boy, look at that.
Oh, wow. That's expensive.
Yeah, but man, the level of detail.
Yeah. Wow. That is just gonna be
Look
so
at
much
the
fun.
face.
That's Hugh Jackman, all right. Wow.
Oh, it hurts. Ah, imagine that on your desktop.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine that.
And hot toys is they made hot toys. They have the right name.
See, now I'm gonna be thinking about trying to own this. Ah,
I don't have any idea how much it must be the price, but I think it's gonna be more than $300.
oh, at least. Yeah, this is the reason why if you're going to invest in this, why not just do
Oh, and look at that!
wow.
Yeah, this is fan made. Or beautiful Lucila's captain.
Yeah. Even though she didn't look like that when Star Trek was first on the air.
Hmm.
I'd say that's Lucy circa 1940. Now, the Lucy of the 1960s was what? Around the time that Star Trek hit the air, Lucy was 50, 53, 54 years old with two kids, teenagers. So I will continue to repeat that until it actually breaks through to a lot of you fans. You know, she was more of a she was an amazing woman, but you
Yes.
also have to be realistic about what she had going on. And part of it is the fact that she was an older woman Because once you get to your 50s, you know, it's not as easy to stay up with all of the new things. And while, could you show that picture again of Lucy?
Okay. Let me. Oops. Uh, here we go.
Because there's something that a lot of you fans out there need to
There you have it.
understand. So look at this picture and understand. She had absolutely no idea what Star Trek was. None. She thought that Star Trek was a TV show about a bunch of actors visiting the troops in the South Pacific during World War II. It was a TV series about a USO tour. That's what she thought Star Trek was.
Oh, a little off target. Just
A little.
a little.
And so people hear that and they look at stuff like this going, well, I don't understand. She seemed to. No, that's because you're mixing and matching. You're thinking that she looked like this in 1966. No. The person who made this, definitely a fan, definitely wanting to honor her. But she did not look like that in 1966.
Well, if you notice, I think that chair is from the.
Voyager.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's Janeway. Basically,
Mhm.
somebody took a Janeway and added Lucy's head. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But be realistic about who she was, what she did, especially as a businesswoman and a gifted, really she was truly a gifted comedic genius. But she
Well,
knew everything about her show. She knew how to run her show. And she knew everything about negotiating with the network that had her show, which was CBS. But in the end, uh, you take what she quote unquote understood Star Trek to be, and you combine that with the fact that she only was in control of Star Trek for about a year and a few months because they ended up selling to Paramount. Also, you notice you don't see her honored for any other thing. You don't see people going to the Mission Impossible movies and wanting Tom Cruise to honor Lucille Ball. You don't see that with where they have fan gatherings of people who are big fans of the Andy Griffith Show. You don't see that either. It is just with Star Trek. So since you've decided to do that, the reality is that she didn't know what was going on. She wasn't dumb. She was busy. Very busy.
okay. We have a question
Yeah.
again from Lee. Man, that answer could take hours, maybe
You know what?
two days in a row.
Let me be completely out there with this, okay? Ready, Lee? I can answer that right now. But I cannot guarantee if you were to ask me that same question tomorrow that it would be the same answers.
Yeah, that tends to happen,
So
especially with movies.
if you want my favorite TV and films, past and present, then as of right now, this moment, uh, favorite television show. You know what? Favorite TV show would have to be Star Trek. And films. Favorite film. That's a good one. Yeah, that's really good. Wolverine 66. Film. Okay, if I were to pick a movie, it would have to be The Empire Strikes Back. There you go. Now, I cannot guarantee that I will give that answer tomorrow. You know, I could just as easily turn around and say, favorite TV show, Breaking Bad, favorite movie, uh, The Adventures of Captain Horatio Hornblower.
Wow.
It
Well,
changes.
yeah. I have to go with if just one for each category. I would be my favorite TV show would be Babylon 5. It has
Oh,
been so for I think since it came out. Um, and my favorite movie would be Gone with the Wind.
wow. That's pretty good. See,
Yeah.
now I feel kind of embarrassed because that's really good. You picked two good ones. Am I allowed to change my answer? No, okay. uh, you know, a little on target or topic, but not quite. Martin, have you had a chance? Excuse me. Have you had a chance to watch the Babylon 5 movies that they did?
Yes, I have seen almost everything.
What
I
did you
think
think?
I okay. Continue. Continue.
What did you think of Third Space?
Third Space. I liked it. I think that that was. I think that was a pitch
Yeah,
because the third space in general poses a new potential adversary,
yeah,
and they never touched that again.
yeah.
Still there. It, the, you think Straczynski would use them in his revival?
Good chance that he would because it is so new. And I again, I after reading what he had posted about the revival and what he could be going for, I'm here for it. You know, again, it's the guy who created it, and now he's doing this. I'd feel the same way if we were talking about a Buffy revival that Joss Whedon was doing.
Whoa! Shot fires.
The STG is Keith's favorite show. Keith's favorite movie is The Rise of Skywalker. Wow. Wow.
Well, at least
Wow.
it's not the Last Jedi, because
Wow.
yes,
I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends. I mean, that you just buried that knife right between the shoulder blades there. Okay. Okay.
twisted it.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
the only thing with Third Space is it's too much of a horror story. Don't get me wrong; it's a nice horror story,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it would fit in Babylon's universe.
Yeah. Gap After Dark asks, do you think Straczynski could strike lightning in a bottle twice? Yes.
He had done in
And the
the
reason
past.
why I say that confidently is this. Anyone who has ever done a deep dive into Babylon 5, love you too, Gap. Anyone that's ever done a deep dive as far as their encyclopedias that they put out, which again I highly recommend. If you're one of those lucky people that got your hands on the Babylon 5 encyclopedia set, lucky, lucky, lucky. And any of the books that they put out where Straczynski did a deep dive into every single season of the show, breaking down how everything was, individual episodes, and how it fit. There's so much material that he did more work. Really, I can't just put him. I mean, his entire writing staff. Really, everybody that worked on the show. But as far as the creative side of everything, it's one of the best writers' room ever in the history of geek entertainment.
Yeah. The continuity is astounding.
Oh, geez. And again, it's kind of like, in my opinion, it's kind of like the way people talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. It makes me ask, how come people can't just follow the formula that they did it with Babylon 5 in making whatever now? You got to remember, Babylon 5 was a 90s show. If they could do that level of work.
And not only a 90s show, it was a low budget 90s show.
Low budget 90s show.
They made miracles.
Gap After Dark asks, if you had to pick one character from Babylon 5, who would be your favorite? Mine would be Garibaldi. You took mine. Garibaldi's my favorite character.
I would go with Jakar.
Jakar is also a really good character. But Garibaldi was from day one, from the pilot, The Gathering, all the way through. Garibaldi is my guy. Because there are times in my life where I felt the same. You know, someone that is being given the last chance to make right, and you want to do everything possible to do the right thing. And while I think,
well,
go ahead.
If I really wanted to troll my wife, I would make her choose between Jakar and Marcus.
Look, I know a lot of women who are big Marcus fans, because just the romantic aspects of who Marcus is and how much he just. I have to say, look, in all of fandom, there are very few instances where you get to see something like that or have a character that feels as intensely as Marcus did. You'd have to go all the way to Buffy the Vampire Slayer to find characters that reach that level, you know. Lee Anthony.
Nope. Wait, there it is.
My favorite sci-fi show from the past is Lost in Space. Okay, cool. And my favorite sci-fi film is Forbidden Planet. And modern day is Blake 7 and Independence Day and Jurassic Park. Those are all pretty good, dude. Well, see, can I change my answer? Because he's got Lost in Space on there now. And that makes me think, yeah, Lost in Space is definitely one of my favorites growing up. Love Forbidden Planet. I wish circumstances have been different for Star Trek. Because for those who don't know, let me just put this out there, because every time I think about it, I got to make sure everybody knows. Go to YouTube and look up the Roddenberry Archive. You'll thank me later if you've never done it. But it's a whole project where they're trying to find ways of preserving Roddenberry's vision of Star Trek, and it's really well done. Wolverine 66 says Garibaldi reminded me of a chubby Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Even in the attitude.
Yeah, well, yeah. Look, I just like the character a lot. You know, he was very no nonsense, but part of it was the fact that he had a lot going on in his life. That's the great thing about Babylon 5. These characters had a lot of layers to them. There's a reason why they they felt the way that they did, and eventually you would be allowed to learn that, you know? Gap After Dark. Also, what did you guys think about Crusade? I really like that show. Wish it had continued in Babylon 5. The Legend of the Rangers I thought was pretty good. Thoughts? I agree with you about both shows. I thought Legend of the Rangers had potential. I wish it had been able to go beyond the pilot movie that they had. Crusade, I really liked.
Oh yes, Dylan, I love that character, man.
Had a chance to meet that guy
Oh, really?
twice. Yeah, yeah.
I think is he um he's like oh my God, Peter Weller, that university he teaches at University of Syracuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, back when he was, in fact, the last time he was acting, the last time I was really surprised to see him on a television show was his name's Peter Woodward. I told him when I met him I was a big fan of his dad's, Edward Woodward.
No, he's the son of Edward.
Yes, he looks like his dad. And guess what? His dad, one of the last times I saw his dad, he made a cameo appearance on Crusade. They did a
Really?
scene.
The equalizer himself.
Yeah. But Peter Woodward also, the last time I actually saw him in anything was he did the final season of Fringe.
I have to watch Fringe.
He was one of, well, I can't say anything without spoiling it, but Peter Woodward did the final season of Fringe, and it made a lot of sense. His storyline, brief as it was, because I think he did like 3 or 4 episodes, ties into how that's one of the best shows that, I know it's going to freak some people out, but it's not the end times. I feel good. I'm just saying that it's the only Alex Kurtzman show that I thought was actually worth a damn. You can quote me on it. And part of the reason, as I learned myself and had confirmed by Script Doctor, was the fact that while he is a co-creator of the show with J.J. Abrams, the reason why that show was so good is because Alex Kurtzman only handled the first season of the show, and then he left. And there were 2 other guys who were put in charge of the show who took it over and ran it from that point to the end. But if you've never seen Fringe, you should check it out from the very beginning. And trust me, you are about to see something that is just going to twist your mind. And you got to keep telling yourself, yeah, this is from Alex Kurtzman. See, if Alex Kurtzman actually cared about what he was doing and not just cared about the paycheck, and actually had people working with him that actually knew what they were doing, you get Fringe. That's the reason why I keep giving him a hard time about Star Trek, because he doesn't care. He does not care. That's...
Yes. This Sax is here.
Feeling good, Zax. How are you, buddy? Yeah, you can tell that he doesn't care about Star Trek because of how good Fringe is.
Wait. Let me run our greetings for Sax.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Oh, wow.
What do we have here?
You know what? Yeah, he was still willing to work with his partner at that time. Although, again, notice his partner has completely disappeared. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, buddy. It was good. It was good to be around everybody. It was good to see everybody have a good time. Had a lot of great conversations. Hopefully, I brought a lot more people to this show and others. Uh, I love doing convention meet and greets. You know, I would love to be able to get Gary back to doing at least one or two. Because, look, contrary to what Gary says, Gary's one of the most entertaining individuals once you get him in that setting. Once he's there at the convention and he's doing stuff, he's an incredibly charming guy. And it's easy to sit next to him, and all I got to do is smile. You know? um, let's see.
Well, I think we should continue with our
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what is it?
let me go to the next big story here.
Would be Gunn's Superman.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So I learned yesterday that let's see, I think it's James Gunn. Oh, here, hold on. I'll read it to you. Okay. Anyway, oh, wait a minute, that's not what I was supposed to read. Sorry. Okay. So here we go. Superman movie sets being constructed in Cleveland, Ohio. Production crews for the new Superman movie are setting up in Cleveland, Ohio. The Man of Steel is returning to his hometown with director James Gunn slated to film scenes for DC's new Superman movie in Cleveland. The production received $11 million in Ohio motion picture tax credits from the state of Ohio. Sets are being constructed in Public Square, with production expected to film in Cleveland through July 16th, meaning that they are going to be in Ohio during July 4th. Rock. And as I posted yesterday on Facebook, I hope that I'm hoping that they get an opportunity to also do their scenes in Cincinnati. And if Gunn and his people can at least just visit the city of Athens, which would be fantastic. Athens, Ohio is the actual town that Central City was based on for the Flash comics. Now, I know. You get these people, Central City's supposed to be in Missouri and blah, 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 blah. No. This is that, all that happens after Crisis on Infinite Earths comic book was published. Prior to the publishing of that story in those, in comics, Central City was located in Ohio, right where the city of Athens is located. So there you go. This is going to be fantastic. Again, not the first film to film in Ohio and Cleveland mainly. As I've stated before previously, both Joss Whedon's The Avengers and the film Captain America The Winter Soldier, both those Marvel films were actually filmed partially in Cleveland. The scenes that took place in Germany, especially the scene with Loki making everyone kneel in the street. That's Cleveland. The building where Loki stabbed the guy to get his eyeball. That's
Yeah.
also Cleveland. That's also Cleveland. That's the city hall of Cleveland. And I think they had one or two other scenes for the Avengers in Cleveland. The the shield base that they shared with NASA at the beginning of the movie where the Tesseract was kept, that's actually two places. Technically that's three different places. Okay? At the beginning of the movie where you see the helicopter set down and Nick Fury jumps out, that's upstate Ohio. That's an actual physical place run by NASA just a few miles north of Cleveland. And then on the inside, that's sets that they had built in LA. And then
Whoa! Thank you, Lee. Thank you, and welcome to our little channel and community. I hope you will find it mm, worthy of your time.
welcome to the fun. I hope it's fun, and hopefully you'll get a chance to experience some of the other shows that we have on the Pop Culture Minefield YouTube channel. We have a lot of really fun and very exciting people. You know, I'm really I do all right for myself.
Yeah,
Way
right.
better, with Martin with me. But we have some really exciting people and some really exciting shows, and hopefully you'll at least take time out to sample all of those. Uh, let's see the as I was saying in the Avengers, you know how that base had that tunnel that kind of
That
took off from
collapses.
the that collapses and takes you out to the desert. That's that tunnel and the back entrance there. That's New Mexico. So in order to film that entire scene, they went to three different places to film all of that.
Sounds a little overkill, if you ask me.
Hey, it worked for the movie though. You had a good
Oh,
time,
yeah.
didn't you? Yeah, well, it worked. That's money well spent. um, and then the uh, the scene with Nick Fury being chased by bad guys in Winter Soldier, where he kept turning down different streets and eventually kind of drove past the Winter Soldier. That's downtown Cleveland. And let's see, the overpass scene where the Winter Soldier jumps on top of the car and takes the steering wheel out of Steve's hands. Actually, no, it was out of Sam's hands.
Yep.
And causing the accident and everybody to fall out onto the highway. That's also Cleveland. And then the fight under the overpass, where Steve meets up physically with the Winter Soldier and starts fighting him. The knife fight. That's also Cleveland. Uh, so yeah, Cleveland's had an opportunity to shine a little bit, and not to be outdone, but Cincinnati, the old Cincinnati train station, in the 70s was used as the basis for the Hall of Justice in the Super Friends cartoon, because there is an Ohio company that bought out Hanna-Barbera Productions and moved Hanna-Barbera's headquarters to Ohio just before they put out as they were putting everything together for what eventually became the Super Friends cartoon series. And that place has been used in reality and live action for Greg Berlanti's live action version of The Flash has used that at least twice. That train station. So this will be the first time that the train station will be used in live action on film. And the original plan is that the Hall of Justice will be the home of the Justice Society and not the Justice League in the Superman in the version of the DC universe that James Gunn is building. The Hall of Justice will be the home of the Justice Society, and hopefully they will have a few other surprises for us. Hopefully that'll also lead to at least rehiring some of the talent they had from the Black Adam movie. In this case, I know that he quote unquote died in spoilers. I'm hoping that Pierce Brosnan comes back to play Dr. Fate, or at least cameo as Dr. Fate, someplace in the scene that they're going to film. So there you go. That's where we're at. Superman is still in production. The movie won't be out until next year, but it takes a while. And personally, I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm all about this, and anything that allows us to honor the creators of Superman and really his hometown of Cleveland, I'm all for. So, Wolverine 66. Unsurprisingly, House of the Dragon has been renewed for a third season. I'm happy about that, but also not surprised because it's quality. It's quality, you know.
Rings of Power 2 has been renewed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they have to. Because the amount, when you spend that kind of money and you still end up rolling snake eyes, you got a problem. because look, House of the Dragon really should have been one of the most hated TV shows out there, considering how Game of Thrones
Yeah.
ended. There were a lot of people that did not like that final season. I mean, and when I say not like, I mean hated.
Yeah.
And for
Guilty as charged.
House of the Dragon to come along and do what it did in a season, you would have thought that that final season of Game of Thrones never happened, or that people didn't hate it with as much as they love House of the Dragon season 1. And let me just say as a side note, I'm looking right at the Emmy people. House of the Dragon should have been nominated for more Emmys. Just saying. It should have. You know. Anyway. That's just me. Lee Anthony Davis again. I find it better to watch it here on YouTube rather than watching it on Twitter, because when I commented on Twitter, I felt like I was the only one commenting, but on here I can see lots of good people. Well, thank you. We attract nothing but good people who are all here because Martin is the man. He's that good. Wolverine 66 says Idris Elba's Hijack season 2 is now filming for Apple TV because it is cool. Idris Elba is cool. You know, Idris Elba, in my opinion, Idris Elba should have been Icon. Do you hear me, James Gunn? Icon. He should be Icon. Let him cameo in Superman as Icon.
I don't know. His age may be a problem. The same
I-
thing with James Bond.
that could be, but he's a man of stature. You know, it just Elba. It's just hard to. It's just well, actually, you know what? Let me back up off that and say this. You know what? I agree. He is a man of a certain age, but guess what? He just got done in a Muay Thai fight. Look that up. Google that. Idris Elba in the ring.
Really?
Wow. Just wow. If he can pull that off and do what he did, mm, mm. I mean, geez. Yeah, Wolverine. You see what I mean? You see, you believe now? Elba. Wow. He's got it going on. And Icon as a movie would be fantastic. There are enough people out there who like the comics, and there are enough people out there who probably never read the comics. You would enjoy an Icon movie. But what do we have to look forward to? We have the J.J. Abrams Superman film,
Hey,
for which he wants to have a black Clark Kent. And
well,
not 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 Val Zod. Not
well,
Calvin. Just Clark Kent. He wants to just do that again. It's like, wow. Okay. You do you, boo. I won't watch. Even though the entertainment business is in poor shape, especially with the franchises, it's good to know that there is another alternative where you can escape into your Blu-ray or DVD collection. I agree wholeheartedly.
exactly. And Star Wars lives in that place,
Yep.
in your
Well,
Blu-ray collection, and that's it.
Blu-rays, DVDs, paperback novels, and comics. You know, the stuff, all the stuff that Kathleen Kennedy said doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure that one out. So,
Well,
because
I think it's high time we speak about Call of Duty.
yes. First of all, let me ask everybody on here. Okay, how many of you people on here play Call of Duty or at least play Warzone? Okay, that's what we need to establish first.
Hey, James, how are you, man? Uh,
Star Trek needs to be done in
Whoops.
house. You know what? I agree, except that because of the deal that Sumner Redstone made and giving Star Trek completely over, taking Star Trek from Paramount and giving it to CBS, it's going to be next to impossible to do anything with Star Trek that isn't in some way affected or attached to Kurtzman. That's the sad fact of Star Trek. You know, you can't just say, well, let's just start from the beginning again. It's kind of like the whole time travel thing with Doc Brown, the way that he explained it. You know, uh, once someone's altered the timeline, everything you're doing pretty much is just a part of this same altered timeline, unless you go back to before it was altered. But you got to know where that is and when that is. You know, you're never going to be able to get real Star Trek until somehow Star Trek is either until until at least you either find a way of getting Star Trek back into the hands of Paramount, or firing all of the executives who I believe are directly responsible for all the money that's been lost spending on Star Trek up to this point. So then you can just let Kurtzman go. Kurtzman has to be expunged, erased from history. I agree. But that won't be easy. So let's see. Lee Anthony Davis says, I played Call of Duty on my PS2. Well, let me tell you something. Call of Duty has just been getting it done. Okay?
Yeah.
They, for those that didn't know, there's now been unveiled Call of Duty 6.
No, Black Ops 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. You're right. I needed to be very clear in that. This just dropped the other day, and I gotta say, as a Call of Duty fan, Warzone fan myself, I look forward to any of these releases. It's a fun game, and it's something that I play with my brothers and my sons. Just jumping online and just wrecking shop. I wanted to let you all know that you can occasionally find me online doing this. I try to take a little pity on certain people who deserve it. But for the most part, I'm beyond excited. I'm beyond excited about this release. Martin, have you ever played any of these games?
I have only not played one of them.
Okay. I think Gary's played
So,
these.
yeah.
And, yeah.
When I had the little time that I had, little free
Uh-huh.
time, I played with him. But man, as of late, I couldn't. I don't have as much free time as I used to. However, this Black Ops 6 is the story that I like, or Black Ops in general.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the 4, it's the story that I like the most because I'm not a big multiplayer fan. In fact, I really don't like multiplayer. I play Call of Duty for the campaign, and man, I love the storylines that they tend to use on the Black Ops series.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been I was so excited with this release. I saw the presentation live, and I saw the new movement mechanics that they are going to implement. And I saw a lot of people say, "Yeah, that is those movement mechanics exist from the '90s. Why don't you have it?" And I was thinking, "Shut up! Yes, Max Payne did it in the '90s. Okay, we all know that. Call of Duty hasn't done it. It's doing it now. Just enjoy it,
Yeah.
and maybe, just maybe, suggest them to add changing your shoulders when you're getting into corners. Change your weapon from shoulder to shoulder. That's it. But then, oh man, that news that the game has to be online all the time, even when you're playing single player. It was that's odd. And then I discovered why. Do you know why is that?
No.
No, it's because the game is so freaking ginormous. Yes, it's the game. It will occupy like 300 gigabytes.
Yeah.
I pre-downloaded and it took like 150. But when it gets released, it's going to be 300 gigabytes. So in order to not make the folder even bigger, they have decided that all the textures in the game are going to be streamed, download to your computer in real time as you're playing.
Wow.
That is why it has to be connected all the time. And I'm here sitting in, okay, I'm here in Mexico with my really crappy connection. The lag is going to be horrible. That game is going to be unplayable for me.
Wow.
So, what do I do now?
Wow. 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 I could not answer that, my friend. Look, I just love the fact that we're getting some more of this goodness. And again, for all of you out there, I know that not everybody's a gamer, but there's just nothing like playing with your friends in this, especially on Warzone. Uh, all the different skins that you can play. The fact that Snoop Dogg is an option for you to reskin your character to look like Snoop Dogg or Cheech and Chong. That is
If
still
if if Gary were here, he would be cussing at you because he hates that. It's really immersion breaking, man. You're in a firefight from hell, and then you look at you and you have freaking Homelander standing beside you. What the fuck? I don't. Oh man.
Oh wow. This is just a really really well done gaming franchise, and I'm here for it. You know, I'm all about it. So wow. Let's see. Lee Anthony Davis says my favorite game that I love to play on the PS5 is Jurassic Park Evolution 2 because I like the creativeness that the game has to offer.
Yes, James.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely whew, that still takes a little bit getting used to. It's going to take me some time to adjust to that. Um wow. Time seems to have really flown by. So I guess we've reached that point in the chat in the show. Gonna start wrapping up here. Uh, well, I, you know, uh, so just gonna say thank you to James Caserta, Gap After Dark, Lee Anthony Davis, brand new. Give him a big hand, everybody, for joining. Wolverine 626, D Bud Martin, Andy Morrow, Penny, the lovely Penny, and Sci-Fi Mombi. Yes. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to come in, entertain you, and for bringing my good buddy Martin, the main man, along. Uh, yeah, it's always a pleasure to do this for you guys and interact with all of you guys. So, on behalf of everyone here at Pop Culture Minefield, and of course myself and Mr. Martin.
Whoa. So thank you, Anthony. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anthony. Lee Anthony Davis, everybody. Thank you for joining and giving of your time. Hopefully you'll catch us here next week. Same Keith time, same Keith channel. Pop Culture Minefield. This has been Morning Coffee with Keith and Martin. Have a good day.
See you later.